Eileen. I am a Senior Implementation Specialist here at RedTeam Go. And during our training webinar today, we will be going over schedules and daily logs in RedTeam Go. As I mentioned previously, this is a training webinar. This is not a presentation. So if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to use the Q&A button or the chat option within Zoom. Oops. So today we're going to go over how to create a schedule template in RedTeam Go, how to build a project schedule, and then how to, with the difference between uploading a schedule to be shared with our project team versus creating and emailing a baseline schedule. Okay? And then we'll finish this off with daily logs and how the daily log and schedule integrate with one another. So to get started, we're going to touch on our schedule templates. Now you do need administrative access, but you will select your name in the right-hand corner of RedTeam Go, and then you will navigate over to the administration menu. Now, once in the administration menu, you will just navigate over to default settings, and from here, we'll scroll on down to schedule template. Okay. When you first start with RedTeam Go, you will notice that you already have some schedule templates built in your database. Okay. You'll have the build out and renovation, service work, and a few others. And you can see that we do have what seems to be duplicates. They're not really duplicates. If you look over here, you'll see that each schedule template that you're noticing is being used with a certain cost code division. Okay, so we have the 16 and 48 division code. So I have a build out and renovation template for the 16 division, and then I have one for the 48 division. Okay? And this will depend on the cost code division set that you've selected for that particular project. Right? So you can see you have the option to create an unlimited amount of schedule templates here. Okay. Now over here, to create a schedule template, you'll just select the Create button. Before we create one, I want to show you the Manage Gantt style. Okay. This is how you can change the coloring system of your schedules. Righty? This lives right over here under Manage Gantt styles. You can click into it and change that color. Alrighty, so you can see this is material. So any object in my schedule that is a material cost code will light up, will show up as green. Okay, anything that's entered as a group will be black. Custom tasks will be this darker blue. And then cost codes, if I just use a cost code, it will be this shade of blue. Milestones will show up as red, and then my progress, if I choose to show my progress, that will show up as gray. As I said, you do have the ability over here to change those colors. Okay? This will change them across the board for all schedules. You are not able to change the colors on a schedule project-to-project basis. Now, if you want to create a new schedule, you're going to select the Create button right here. Okay. I'm just going to show you the beginning of creating a schedule template, and then we're just going to hop right into a project and create a schedule because schedule templates are the same as creating a regular schedule. So we will give it a name, select which division set, okay? And then we're going to, it does ask us if we want to use an existing schedule template. I'm going to say no because I want to create a new one. Okay, so once you do that, it does add it to the list, and then you can click right into it and you'll build it. So if I just click into one just to show you what it looks like, this is my schedule template. Okay, it starts with a project start and a project end, and you're going to add your task right over here by selecting the Add Items button. You have the ability to create custom tasks, and you have the ability to use cost codes. Okay. So as I said, I'm just going to hop right into a schedule because building a schedule in a project is the same as building it here in the template. And I would love to build one in a project so that we can then create daily logs, and I'll show you how they all integrate with one another. Before we do that, just want to ask, does anyone have any questions? All right. So we are going to navigate on over to our project. And today we'll be working on our project called Mystery Spot. So your schedules will be located under daily activity. We have our daily logs and we have our schedules. So we're going to come over here to schedules. Okay. I do not have a schedule built for this project. So the first thing it asks me is, do you want to use an existing template? If I say yes, I'll have my search box right here and I can look for the template that I want to use. Okay. So I'm going to use my living wall template. And then it also asks if I want to also add cost codes from this project. Okay. So I'm going to say yes and create. Now you can see I wasn't able to change my project start date, and that's because I already have owner billing in progress with this project. If I've created this schedule at the very beginning of the project, before I've sent out owner billing, then it would allow me to change that date right there. Okay. Alrighty. So here we go. You can see it's imported all of my cost codes. And down here, this living wall, this is from my template. Okay. So it's imported the task that I already have scheduled for my living wall, which is a site visit, the installation, and then the owner training and overview. So next step, we'll scroll up here. You do have the ability, because I added all of my cost codes, I'm probably going to want to remove some, right? So I'll come over here, and to remove any unneeded cost codes, we're going to select the ellipses icon. Okay? So when you select those three dots, we'll come over here and delete. Okay? Just give ourselves some more space. Right? You do also have the ability to edit the way your permit, or I'm sorry, not your permit, but the way the task is shown. If I just pull this out, you can see how this says permit cost, because that's my cost code, which is a .o. Let's say I want this to be a reminder to apply for my permit, but I don't want it to say permit cost on my schedule. I can double click into it and I can give it an alias. All right, so I'm going to give it an alias, letting us know that we have to apply for permits. I have the ability to create my start and finish date right here. Okay. And I can set my duration, which I've dragged it out, so it already entered that my duration is for 6 days. Okay. If I have a due date, I can put that right here, letting my team know that you have to apply for permits by this date. And then here is my resource. So I have myself assigned as the resource, meaning I'm making myself responsible for this. If I want to assign it to someone else in my team, I can come over here and type in their name. So now I've assigned applying for permits to Tracy. And then we'll select save. Okay. And now you can see that on my schedule, instead of it just saying the cost code and permit cost, this is going to show up as apply for permit. Okay. So you'll want to go through dragging, pulling out, and adjusting the date for your task. Okay. You can see I've used cost codes, and you can see pretty much everything is assigned to me except for a few. So I want to point that out. You see how roofing shows that it's assigned to sample sub already? That's because I have a signed subcontract agreement with my subcontractor for roofing. So RedTeam already knows who my resource is for this particular task. Okay. Any questions so far from everyone? No? Okay. All right. So you'll want to go through, like I said, dragging it out to show how many days, or you can click into each item and put in their durations this way. If you need to add any additional tasks that aren't here on the list, you do have the ability right over here to add items. And you can add a cost code, or you can add a custom task. Okay. So I'm going to add a custom task. I'm going to say that this is a site visit. We're planning for a walkthrough. And I'll say that's going to occur today, 2 days, and then RedTeam is going to ask, well, where do you want to add that? I'm just going to add it right underneath the project start and save. Okay. So that's how you can add additional items. Right over here, we have this link in sequence button. What that's going to do is it's going to take everything that I've entered in here and give it a finish to start relationship. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean by that. If I come over here to link in sequence, proceed, Red Team has now taken everything, and everything has a finish to start relationship. So once one item finishes, the next one will start. You have the ability to change that. You also have the ability to remove the links if you'd like. Okay. Let's say I want applying for permits and my site and the site visits to begin at the same time. I can do a few things. I can drag this, pull it up so that it shows up underneath here, and then I will click into it. And I want to tell Red Team that I want permit costs and the site visit to have that finish to start relationship. So I would add a link right here, or I'm sorry, a start to start relationship. So I'm going to apply for permits and my site visit walkthrough. I want them to have a start to start relationship. Okay. So that means that they're going to start at the same time. Okay. If you want to remove all of your links, like I said, you certainly can. Another way that you can edit your links is just by selecting the link right here. So site visit walkthrough, and I guess I have another site visit in here. I can have them start to start at the same time, finish to finish at the same time, or start to finish at the same time. And I can also add lags. Okay, so let's say I want them to start at the same time, but with a 1 day lag in between. I would change the relationship from start to start and put that 1 day lag. Okay, and then you can see here, this site visit will start, and then the next one will start just with that 1 day lag in between. Okay, any questions from anyone? No? Alrighty. So once you've gone through and you've completed your schedule, I want you to remember to always select the save button. That shimmer is your only reminder to save. If I don't select save and I accidentally back out of here, Red Team will not save my work. Okay. Right over here, this reset button, if I were to select that, that is going to wipe my entire schedule clean. Oh, okay. Jason, I just saw your message. This is not a flex training. This is for Red Team Go. Flex will have a scheduled training, I believe, but that's not today. That's in a couple of weeks. All right. Okay. Is anyone else here? I'm so sorry. Before we continue, is anyone else here expecting to go over Flex? Yeah, Jason, I'll reach out to your CSM and let them know that you don't want to receive invites for other products, for sure. I'm sorry about that. You're welcome. Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to come right back in here. Okay. Now, just want to go through all of our buttons over here. So I've shown you if you select reset, like I said, that's going to reset your entire schedule. It will wipe it clean. We will start from scratch. So please don't do that unless you absolutely need to. Over here, you have the ability to save this entire template as or save this entire schedule as a template if you'd like. So you can come right over here, select add as template and give it a name. Okay. This will be saved to your template list and you can use on future projects. Okay. Over here, this is adding your schedule as a baseline. Adding it as a baseline is a very special way of sharing the schedule and a special way of keeping track of any changes to your schedule. So if I were to select that I want to add this as a baseline, what Red Team is going to do is it's going to take a screenshot of my schedule right now as it stands, allow me to name it and save it. I can then continue to add as many baselines, taking as many screenshots of my schedule and save them. So I can see how my schedule has changed from the beginning of the project to the middle to the end. It's also a way for me to share my schedule with my project team without needing them to log into RedTeam Go. So if I select add as baseline, we're going to give it a name. I'm going to let everyone know this is our dream schedule. I want everyone to try and stick to this and add. Second, let me try that one more time. Sorry about that. Let me double check over here. So you can see here, this is where the baselines live. Looks like it's trying to save them, but it's not. Try this one more time, and I'm sorry about that, everyone. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we've added that as a baseline. So now that I've added it as a baseline, if I come over here to baselines, we will see my schedule is right here. Okay. Now my working schedule in RedTeam Go, this one that you're viewing right here where I'm able to make changes. This is not viewable by anyone except for those that work within my organization. My subcontractors can't see this. My owner can't see this. They can only see what I choose to share with them. I have the ability to share an uploaded schedule. I also have the ability to share a baseline. So with the baseline, as you see, and I've created it, I can come over here and choose to email this out to everyone. I can add all my project contacts, add everyone that I have on my project team, remove anyone that I don't want to send this to. And this is the body of my email. Here's my subject. I can change this if I'd like to. And send. Okay. If I make a change to my schedule after I've shared this baseline to with everyone, they won't know that I've made the change. So if I have to push something out, let's say everything needs pushed by a day. Okay. They're not going to, sorry, it's not letting me do it because I have to change my permissions, but they're not going to see any changes that I've made to my schedule unless I choose to create a new baseline and share that with them. So if I push flooring out, let's say flooring is going to take a few days longer, and I save this. When I come back to my baseline, that change to flooring is not going to show up on here because I would need to save it as a new baseline, right? So I just want you to understand that. The baseline is a screenshot that we can share, but it's not going to update unless I choose to save a new baseline. So I want to show you what the subcontractors are going to see when I email that, right? So here's the email that I sent to a subcontractor. I'm logged in right now as a subcontractor. Here's their email. It shows that it comes from me. They're just going to click this link. And here you go. So now they can view my schedule. They have the ability to print it here. They can choose their format. They can choose the type. They can choose to print a Gantt schedule. We all know what a Gantt schedule is. Or they can choose to print a 3-week look ahead on a calendar format. Okay. So they can choose to change the date range if they'd like as well. And then when they select print, there you go. And this is me, as I said, sharing the baseline schedule with them. The baseline schedule is different than if they were to log into their RedTeam Go database, which this is what your subcontractors, your owners, and your architects see. Okay, this is what their portal looks like when they log into RedTeam Go. if my subcontractor were to come over to schedules, navigate over to the mystery spot project, they're not going to see the baseline here. This is a different area. Uploaded schedules is anything that I've chosen to upload into RedTeam, and I will show you how to do that as well. So that's my baseline. Okay. If I come into my baseline, I have the ability to come over here to uploaded schedules and upload a file for them to view right there. Okay. So I can give it a name, and then we can drag and drop. I'm just going to upload a file for now. Okay. And this is updating in real time. So once I add this here and I select save, if my subcontractor comes into RedTeam Go and refreshes, they will see that file right there. Okay. And it's just a file. They'll click into it. They can download it, print it, and take a look at it. Any questions from anyone so far with the difference between the baseline and uploading a schedule? Nope. Okay, all right, so let's get back into our schedule real quick. I want to show you a couple more things, and then we're going to hop right over to our daily logs. Alrighty, so I've shown you how to add items, how to link in sequence, remove them, reset, save a template, add as a baseline. Here's how you can print your schedule. Okay, so if you select print, RedTeam's going to give you a few different options. You've got your Gantt schedule, you've got the calendar format, which I've shown you, and then you have a report. You select report, you can do your entire project. I'm going to go from the beginning to the end and select print. What the report is it's going to give you an Excel document. And the Excel document is going to list out all of the tasks, showing the start, the due date, and who's assigned to it, who's responsible for it, who is my resource. Okay, so here's this report. So right now, here's everything that's so far, because I've just created my schedule, everything that's assigned to me. You can see we have some .s's in here. So I don't have those subcontract agreements signed yet. Then if we scroll down, you'll see where I assigned the applying for permits to Tracy. And then you can see everything subcontractor is responsible for roofing and earthwork. We're showing their start and end date. If I've given them a due date, that will show up here, just like it does for Tracy and her obtaining the permits. And then you can see the additional tasks. Okay, this is add me to, and then this is a custom task that I've added. I think this is a really cool report that you can share. This is one that you can even download, and maybe this is what you upload as your uploaded schedules. So that's your report. Again, you can always print your Gantt schedule. You'll select your format here. And then you can choose your date range. You can even choose to include it on a single page if you're using plotter paper. And then you can choose to show this, the task start and end date. Alrighty. If you ever see this, this is just the pop-up. You're just going to click this, and this is going to show you the schedule. There we go. All right, and you can see here, because I chose to include the task start and end date, it does show it after each task. Alrighty, and then way up here, just to show you that apply for permits, how that shows up if you give a task an alias. Okay. Right over here, so I've shown you how to print it. Just going to show you your holidays and work days, okay? So RedTeam's going to look through from my project start to my project end, and if I click holidays, it'll show me any holidays that are coming up during that. If this is checked, that means that it is a non-work day. So Memorial Day is going to show up as a non-work day. If I'm going to make my team work that day, I want it to be included as a work day, I would uncheck that, and RedTeam would then make that a work day. You do also have the ability to set work days here, okay? These are just days. So if, let's say, towards the end of the project, crunch time, my guys have to come in on a Saturday, I can turn on Saturday as an available work day. Right, and again, remember, anytime you make a change, select save. Okay. I'm going to show you our integration right now. So let's turn on the integration. So this integration on and off is asking if you want this to integrate with the daily log. I'm going to turn this integration on because I think it's a great integration, and I'm going to show you how they speak to one another. Progress on or off, that's just going to show us the progress of the work. So if I don't care to see a grayed out progress, I can turn it off at any time. You do have the ability to also filter your tasks. You can filter by resource. So let's say I want to only see what everything subcontractor is working on. So I can filter and just see what their work is. Okay. You can also search by critical path only. Okay. So everything that has that red line, that connection, that's my critical path. That's what is filtering out. Alrighty, so we will get started on daily logs. Just going to open it up one more time if anyone has any questions. Nope. Okay. Alrighty, so right over here, we'll come over to our daily logs. Okay, you can see that I already have a couple. Before we create our daily logs, let me show you the difference between a private and a public daily log. Okay, so right now, my daily logs are set to private. If my subcontractor or my owner, my architect, whoever is a part of this project, if they were to log into RedTeam Go, go to daily logs, and locate the project, they won't see any of my daily logs because I have it set to private. Okay. Now, if I come back in here and I change it to public, any daily log that is approved is going to become visible. So you can see only these two are approved, so only these two will show up. They're not going to see this one. So if I come back in here and refresh as a subcontractor, there you go. They can view my daily logs. So just keep that in mind. Okay, if you don't want your daily logs viewed, just keep it on private. If you do want your daily logs to be viewable by your team because you want everyone to see the work that's going on site, set it to public. And then if there's any particular daily logs that you don't want to show, you'll just make sure that you don't approve them. Okay. If you ever approve a daily log and you need to unapprove it, let's say it's to make an edit to it, or it's a daily log that you don't want visible. With administrative access, you're going to come over to administration, and we have an unlock unsigned. You come over here, you can unapprove your daily logs right here. Okay. This is also an area, this is outside of daily logs, but just to show you, you can also remove your signature from a change order, from an owner bill, an owner contract, or a sub change order or a sub contract. Only your guys' signature. You won't be able to remove the signature of the owner. You won't be able to remove the signature of the subcontractor. But from anyone that works within your organization, this is where you can remove their signature so that you can unlock it and make any changes to it. Navigate back over to our daily log. Okay. Before we create a daily log, I want to show you our settings. We come over here to settings, we have what we call weather thresholds. We're going to click into here. Weather thresholds are if any of these conditions were to occur, RedTeam will automatically identify that day as a weather day. Okay. So you know how when you create your daily log, RedTeam is looking at the project zip code. RedTeam is automatically generating what the weather is that day. So if there's a hurricane, RedTeam will generate that. And because I have hurricane checked, RedTeam will know that that day is a weather day. Automatically, it's a weather day. RedTeam is going to keep track of your weather days, going to filter them. You'll have your own way of searching just weather days, but RedTeam will also create an Excel spreadsheet showing all of your weather days and the reason why they were categorized as weather days. So you can then submit that to the client if you need to. Let's say the job site is in Florida, it's during hurricane season, you've lost 2 weeks of work collectively. You'll be able to take that report, submit it to the client, and say, hey, listen, we lost 2 weeks, we need to make this back up. And I'll show you all of that, but this is where you're going to set those parameters. So if I want to say any amount of rain, I just want to track any time that it's raining. I'll put that in right here. Okay, or let's just say 1 inch. Okay, we're going to give it the search parameters of 1 inch. The temperature, you can see we have it 10 degrees for the minimum. High temperature is 99. You can change that here. And same thing with visibility and speed. Okay, so that's where you're going to set those thresholds. Right over here in settings under set weather threshold. Okay. All right, so let's do the good stuff. Let's create a daily log. So to add a log, we'll select the add log button. We're going to enter the date of our log. You can change it. So if you're backdating your log, you can do that. And then we're going to set our site conditions. Okay. I'm just going to say it was a little windy that day. RedTeam's going to generate our weather. And then right over here, you can edit these weather details. So sometimes might not be perfect, right? Let's say there was a tornado. We're going to select edit weather details, and then we'll come over here and we're going to change it. Say there was a tornado today, or tornado warning. I'm going to change that. And then I'm going to scroll down, and you see how it automatically flagged it as a weather day. And then I'll come over here, no work, go home. This is one that I previously filled out, and we're going to save it. Okay. Now, your superintendent. If your superintendent is creating this, he does have the ability to come over here and request for PM approval. Okay. What requesting for PM approval is going to do is it'll email the project manager letting them know that the daily log is here waiting for their review. Okay. And it shows that they submitted it. So as the project manager, I can come in here. I can print it if I just want to look at it. I don't care to actually go into it. Here's my daily log. And if I want to approve it, I can. There we go, approve. Right? Now, because I flagged that as a weather day, if I come over here to weather days, RedTeam's keeping track of them. So I had one weather day on the 4th because of a hurricane, and one weather day on the 11th because of a tornado. My options here, I can select them. I can go to settings and I can print them all. So now I've gathered all of my weather day reports. Okay. I can email this to the customer, or I can download it, keep it, in a file folder. But I also have this. If I select settings and then I come back down to print weather delay, this is the report that I was mentioning. Alrighty, so here it is. So here's the one that I just entered for a tornado. It shows, it filled out the weather conditions right here. This is one that I entered previously. I may not have fixed it, or I may not have changed it properly. So I do have the ability to come over here and say it was a hurricane. And then I can even come over here. Alrighty. And here's my report that I can now submit to my customer, letting them know, hey, we lost those 2 days on site. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. All right. So let's create a real daily log. And that's not going to be flagged as a weather day. We'll come over here, select add log. And again, we're just going to go through, set our site conditions. Okay. Cloudy, sunny, good to go. Now I have the option here to enter my employees present. So I'll select my ellipses icon and go to add employee. Now I can enter who was on site that day. I have the ability to put in their hours. Say I worked 5 hours, and I have the ability to select what task I worked on. RedTeam's only going to give me .L cost codes that I have entered in this project, And then it's also going to give me any of my little preset areas where I'll show you where these live. Because you can create these. You see how no show, jury duty, personal without pay. These are tasks that you can create for your team to select when they're clocking in and out, and it won't show up against a project budget. But I do want to point out, if I create this, if I say that I was on site for 5 hours and I'm selecting a cost code, our team is going to create a timesheet for me. Okay. So if you already have your guys clocking in and out using RedTeam and you're creating time cards and approving it that way, you can still have them say that they were, on site, put them on the daily log, leave the hours blank. Because if you don't leave the hours blank, if you put in 5 hours here and then I also clock in and clock out using the mobile app, RedTeam's going to say that I worked 10 hours today. Does that make sense to everyone? Yep. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I can go through, like I said, adding as many as I'd like. What I really like about this is that if my superintendent is going through and saying everyone that was on site today, when I go to create my daily log tomorrow, he doesn't have to go through and manually add all the employees all over again. RedTeam's going to carry over whoever I had was on site yesterday onto today's daily log. Okay. And then I would just fill in their hours and tasks. Now here for equipment present, this information is informational only, right? So if I select the ellipses icon and go to add equipment, let's say I have a forklift on site and I got it from Sunbelt. RedTeam is not going to generate a purchase order for me. RedTeam's not going to add anything to my budget. This is just me keeping track on my daily log. Okay? So I can say that I have a forklift on site and I'm due to return it tomorrow. And I can add additional equipment. Oops. So just so you know, if you are entering someone here, it does need to be a vendor that you already have entered into RedTeam. If you don't have them entered into RedTeam, it'll prompt you to enter them now. Okay. So here's my equipment present. My next area right here are my contractors present. Okay. So this is where I can, show any subcontractors that were on site that day. Now, if my schedule was showing a subcontractor was due to be on site today, they would automatically generate here. That's where the integration of the schedule and the daily log really, really come in handy. Your superintendents will be able to open up their daily log and see who's scheduled to be on site today. Based on my schedule, I don't have anyone scheduled to be on site today that I have assigned to a subcontractor, but I do have an installation schedule and I do have an owner training and overview schedule. Now, your superintendent with any scheduled tasks or contractors present, which will create another daily log that shows a contractor present. But what your superintendent is able to do with this integration is, let's say the owner training and overview. It says that it started. Let's say my superintendent wants to propose a new completion date. The 13th was not accurate. They actually won't be ready until, they won't be completed until the 20th. My superintendent can propose this completion date. Proposing this completion date is not going to change my schedule, but it is going to notify my project manager and let them know that, hey, according to my superintendent, something's happening on site, someone's taking a little bit longer. Take a look at the schedule, reach out to them. So that's proposing a completion date, and I'll show you how that presents itself to the project manager. Down here is where we're going to keep track of our tasks. Okay. So this did filter, or it did show what my last note was, which was go home because we had a tornado. So it does save this information. So if your superintendent comes in here and adds 50 tasks that they're working on today, he does not need to add the 50 tasks again tomorrow if they're still working on them. Instead, he can just go through, edit them, and delete them. RedTeam's going to pull it over for him. Over here is where we're going to keep track of our comments and event changes. This is same rule. If he enters anything in here today, tomorrow it's going to pull that information over and he can delete it or edit it. So these are really just our two fields where we're going to put in our notes, schedule. If a contractor did show up, the superintendent does have the ability to add them right here. You can select add contractor. Adding a contractor here is not going to add them to the schedule. Right? I'm just going to, let's say everything subcontractor stopped by today just for a couple of hours because they wanted to do a walkthrough prior to getting started. My superintendent can put that in here. It's not going to edit my schedule. Over here is where my superintendent can keep track of any attachments. Let's say he accepted a shipment of tile and he wants to take a picture of the bill of lading and upload it. He can do that, include it as an attachment. And then over here is where he's going to add his photos. All of this is doable through the mobile app. You can also do it here. I'm just going to click that and then I'm going to select all of my images. All right, and open. Give it a minute. We need it to load. Same thing with the mobile app. There you go. So they've shown up here. And now I'm going to save it. If I'm a superintendent, like I said before, I can request for PM approval, save, it emails my project manager. If I want to look at this, I'm going to come back over here, print it, and here's what my daily log looks like. Okay, and there are my photos. If you're wanting to view these photos larger, you want to see it on your whole screen, RedTeam's storing these on your plan room in the photos folder. So I'll show you what I mean. If I come over here to my plan room and I go to my photos, so this is where I'll upload, my pre-construction photos, right? That I want to share with my team. But if I come over here to timeline, RedTeam's keeping track of all of the photos that I've been uploading to my daily logs right over here. Okay, so I can then go into them and view them in a larger format. Now, if I want you to keep something in mind. See how it's adding it to my plan room, to my photos. That means that these photos are available to my project team. So if my subcontractor, my owner, my architect, they want to see how things are going on site, they can come right over to photos, find the project, and then here are the daily log photos. Okay, so here's photos that we uploaded on the 3rd and photos we uploaded on the 10th. They can click right into them and view them. So just keep that in mind. Let the guys know, regardless of if you're approving these daily logs, even if you leave them as private and you don't approve them, Red Team is adding the photos to the plan room for the whole team to view. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, here we go. So let's come back into here. Let me show you. Remember how we proposed the schedule change? This is how my project manager knows. Comes into here, he sees there a pending schedule change request. All he has to do is click it. Red Team's going to show him the current schedule. Okay. But if he comes over here, yeah, that's fine. I don't want to change it. Red Team shows him, here's that proposed change that my superintendent made. Okay. So like I said, this is my project manager's chance to now call whoever, is slowing us down, find out, hey, is this true? If they say yes, it's true, he can click into it and approve changes. If he talks to them and they say, you know what, yeah, we thought we were going to need until the 20th, but we can get it done sooner. We'll get it done on the 17th. Project manager can come in here, change it to the 17th, and then from here, approve changes. Okay. From here, if this is affecting anyone, if him making this change pushes any of our other tasks out, he can select notify affected contacts, and here you go. So because we pushed out that installation, it affected all of these other tasks because we had everything with that finish to start or start to finish relationship. So because I pushed that out, everyone else got pushed out. So I can choose to say, yeah, let's notify everyone. All it's going to do is notify them just like this. So everything subcontractor is going to receive an email that says roofing, these are your new dates, your start and end date, earthwork, your start and end date. Whereas myself, Eileen, because I have all of these things assigned to me, is going to show me all of my new start and end dates. I don't have to choose to inform myself. When we're ready, we'll select Notify Selected. And then now RedTeam sent out an email. It's just an email. It's not a copy of the schedule. All right. So if you want to now share an updated copy of the schedule after you made this change, you'll come right into your schedules and you have the option to either create a new baseline. So you can come right over to add as baseline, say updated, add it. Then we'll come over here and you can see here's our first one. Here's our new updated one. And if I want to share that, I'll select email baseline. Yep. So that was daily logs and schedules, right? Still have a little bit less than 15 minutes. I'm going to open this up to everyone. Does anyone have any questions, any comments, any suggestions? If you would like the ability to speak, if you don't want to use the chat button, let me know. I can actually allow you to speak. I can turn on your mic. Okay. Well, thank you everyone who joined. This webinar will be available on our site for you to view at a later time. If you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out to us. You can always also use our chat option. I do hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I will speak to you soon.